Thank you very much. So, lots to discuss on my panel coming up with Boots and Tesco and Channel 4 and more about the things that we just heard there. I'll definitely be raising a couple of those points. So, Jordan, what do we have coming up next?
So, with media teams pulled in multiple directions by changing media platforms, questions over transparency and with new ways of working, how can a media team, whether at a brand or an agency, keep up? I don't have the answer, I don't know. But someone else does, all right?
I think so.
That's fine for you guys. And so to tell us how, welcome to the stage, Alex Matthews, CEO at Percept, and Jeff Matisoff, partner at Jellyfish.
Hi, I'm Jeff Matisoff from Jellyfish. I'm a partner, coming all the way from the red, white, and blue in mine and Kamala Harris's favorite chucks.
And hi there, I'm Alex Matthews, CEO of Percept in my Liberty-style shirt, with a nice grey background on our flag to represent the weather. We'd like to talk to you just a little bit about the pressures on media teams and the media industry as a whole at the moment. There's some good news in all of this, but there's also wastage as a result of all of these pressures that are on everybody. There's been lots of talk over the past couple of days at this event about this. So we're just going to go into a few of those things and how we're working with Jellyfish to try and relieve those pressures and to improve performance. So, to start with, there's some really, really good news. And that good news is there's lots of money.
Actually, Alex, there's way more money.
Oh, sorry. That much?
Still more.
How much?
Keep going.
Okay. Lady?
One more.
Thank you. Okay. There's lots of money in the media industry. There's $600 billion being spent on digital media globally last year, and in the UK, around about £30 billion spent in the UK, an increase of about 11%. Which is all great news, but the big question really is it being spent effectively and efficiently? And that's what we're going to look at. On the other hand, media agencies themselves and media teams generally, in-house or within a media agency, are having a bit of a hard time. There's so much to do. And media agency revenues are actually relatively flat. Some data from AdWanted, thank you guys, shows that UK media agencies' revenues only increased by 3% in the last year, but you've got all of this extra money pouring in. Globally, over the past 2 or 3 years, media agency revenues are relatively flat. So it's an interesting thing. You've got all this money coming in, extra money coming into the digital media platforms, but media agency revenues are staying relatively flat. How are you finding it, Jeff?
Yeah, we've had a good couple of years, and we're excited about our momentum going into 2025. But even though we're 2,000 people in 35 countries, every client we win, every time we have more media dollars coming in, it's a stretch to make sure that we are operationally efficient and that we are driving effectiveness in campaigns. And as more and more platforms, more and more channels become digitally enabled, retail, in-store, programmatic, out-of-home, there's just more and more pressure on teams to perform.
Absolutely, and these are all the doors that you can spend your digital media on. There is so many more channels now. There's been so much talk to this in the past couple of days about retail. There's people from Tesco's here, I think, yesterday. There are so many of these platforms now that media teams, you've got much more money coming into the system, you've got media agency revenues relatively static, but so many more things to do. So that's just a huge challenge for everybody. And when you try and unpick all this and start looking at it, what are media teams on the ground actually having to deal with? So just a couple of slides on that, and then we'll go into what we've been doing with Jellyfish. Firstly, there's the whole what's going on behind the curtain. What's going on in all of these black boxes? The media platforms, they've got all their black boxes, there's PMax, Advantage Plus, whatever. Media teams are struggling with figuring out what is the best way of using these platforms. Should they be investing more in PMax or not? That's just one example. And so there's a lot of time spent on that. And secondly, there's the media platforms themselves. Generally, of course, are generally incentivized just to push people to spend more money and not necessarily worry about whether money is being spent effectively or efficiently. So there's that as well, where you've got media teams trying to figure out, should I be increasing spend or should I be spending time making things more efficient? All of this basically leads to increased pressure on media teams. So there's so much to do. There's more money coming in. There's more to do. They're not sure whether the black boxes are doing what they want them to do, and so there's big questions and resource pressures on media teams. How are you finding it at Jellyfish?
Well, our teams are squeezed. They have so much to do between setting up campaigns, optimizing to budget, optimizing for performance, responding to clients in their needs and servicing our client-first structure, making sure that we have creative live, all of the things, and QA is one of the most important parts. But when you put all of that together, there's just too much squeeze going on. It takes about 5.5 hours to QA a major campaign for our advertisers, whether it's Workday or Boots or Bissell or smaller ones, market to market. It's still 5.5 hours because they're all complex, just like our current client's business that is complex. That leads to nuance and attention being paid in each platform. That 5.5 hours compares to about 40 minutes when I used to QA campaigns about 100 years ago, and that time is just a suck. So how do we not throw bodies at the problem to make it go away, but find technology partners that we can license to help us solve that in new ways?
Absolutely, and that's what Percept has been doing. That's the reason we built the Percept platform some years ago now. In fact, we started out just with a page search auditing tool, which was basically some tech that downloaded all the data from Google Ads and analyzed it and spat out a load of data for our analysts and team to then write reports. And that was great. It worked nicely 5 years ago. But the problem with that was, once you've written the report and you've presented it and whatever, and then people have acted upon it, by that point, if you've got an inefficient setup, you've wasted hundreds of thousands of pounds in media spend, and you're not doing the best for your client. So we very quickly realized that actually this would be much better if we switched it into a platform, a client-facing platform, a media team-facing platform, running every single day, analyzing everything across search, social, programmatic, so that to understand where the inefficiencies are within the campaigns and how those inefficiencies can be solved and therefore lead to an improvement in performance. We did this, we've started off with Vodafone, we've been working with Jellyfish for over a year, we've obviously got other clients and there's some in the audience, and basically what this does is gives media teams a really clear guide as to the urgent issues that need fixing right now because, for example, your conversions have suddenly stopped for some reason, or the key issues which may be like high priority issues that just need sorting out that will allow you to improve performance, and then sort of a set of housekeeping issues that allow you to, that things that you should tidy up when you get the time. It's a way of prioritizing the work for media teams to make sure that they do the best they can with the client's money they've got. So you're getting basically unbiased guidance, you're getting urgent issues highlighted, you're getting priority issues highlighted, and all of this leads to an improved performance with that media spend that's being spent. And as we saw at the start, there's a lot of media money.
Yeah, it really helps us step up performance on campaigns. It becomes the homepage for our traders as they're logging into any platform. It becomes their to-do list. It's where they know that not just their way of doing search or programmatic, but the way of doing it for what matters most to the platforms, what matters most as our agency best practices, and what matters most to our clients. So we put it to use in 3 main places: audits, onboarding, and optimizing. From an audits perspective, instead of taking a couple weeks to figure out new clients or pitches, what's going on, and how are campaigns set up and what could be some improvement, we have that in hours, and then we can turn them around and get our teams expert super, super fast. Similarly with onboarding, instead of taking a 30-day transition period where performance is going to be wonky, we hit the ground running and we see first 30-day performance through the roof on all of our new clients, in part because of Percept. And then from an optimization perspective, again, using that homepage, checking out the alerts, seeing the priorities that are recommended every day for our traders to keep performance stepping up and up and up.
Absolutely, but of course we could all just say this, but actually the proof is in the pudding, obviously, and the font didn't come out. Oh, what a shame. Anyway, we did some analysis of one of the campaigns that accounts that Jeff brought on board, the Jellyfish team brought on board, and there's a wastage indicator in our platform that indicates a sort of percentage of wastage that you could expect to improve, and basically his team in 5 weeks reduced that wastage by 8 percentage points, and that resulted in a CPC decrease of 16% in 5 weeks. So this was obviously transformational for that account, and it's happened on other accounts. We've got loads of examples. You might say, oh, well, that was just a fluke, that's just one example. But what we did was we got an independent data science company to look at 2 years worth of data, and what they found was basically for every 1 percentage point of our wastage indicator that you improve your accounts, you're going to get back, on average, across search, social, and programmatic, you're going to get back an 8% improvement in performance.
Yeah, we see that, and we've scaled our usage of Percept. It's been a great partnership for the last 2 years. We see it growing continually. It's things that we get excited to tell our clients about. It's our things that our people love using, saves time, gets them performance, which is what they get excited about. So thank you.
Well, no, and thank you to Jeff, coming all the way from New York. We love working with Jellyfish. They're a great company. We'd love to work with more media teams who are looking to deliver more campaigns at a higher performance with the same amount of resources. So we'll be around after this, so come and see us. Thank you.
Thank you.